Hey, online seller, have you been worried about getting your account suspended by sites like Amazon or eBay? Have you heard the horror stories of others getting shut down? Today, we end the worry and put you fully in charge of your own online destiny. As of now, there's insurance to cover you if your account is suspended on any popular online selling platform, including Amazon. Get ready to sleep better at night knowing your online income is safe and sound. Tell us about it, Jim.
Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I'm your host, Jim Cockrum, and on today's episode, I have a very special guest. We've been anticipating this episode for a very long time because this is one of the most important solutions to one of the biggest problems that us as online sellers, we've had this issue for a decade and a half, if not 2 decades, and there was just no solution. And now there is. So I'm going to introduce Ashlyn Haddon to you. How are you today, Ashlyn?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Jim?
Doing great. Always good to talk to you. And so it turns out that we actually are neighbors. We live right here in the Indianapolis area. So we've actually got to meet. And unlike most of the guests on this show who I've never met, we've got to hang out a little bit. I've got to know you a little bit. But you're a very creative insurance agent. and just you solved a problem out of the blue that's been haunting this industry for a while now. And to cut straight to the chase, there is now income replacement insurance for those who get suspended on Amazon or eBay or any other selling platforms. It's legitimate income replacement insurance. And it's through a very legitimate source, which we're going to get into. So let's talk a little bit about that. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
I think a lot of people are going to be very excited about this. And I'm going to do a little bit of talking here at the beginning, and then we're going to go through some questions that I know people have. But, I've been selling online for, we're coming up on 20 years now. And it used to be back when it was the scariest was when it was all eBay. And that was the only option. And I had friends and I knew people that just got suspended out of the blue, lost their business, shut it down. People with employees, dozens of employees. There was no feedback from eBay, no process to get reinstated, just bam, business gone. And those were the true warriors of online selling back then. I mean, I've met these people. I know these people. And I actually stood up at an eBay event, Ashlyn, one time, and it was a room full of us, and there was a few C-level executives and others up on the stage. And I don't point my finger very much, but I did in this case. And I said, you guys have a huge problem that all of us in this side of the room understand, and I don't think you guys do. We wake up every day, and the first thing we do is we log in to see if we still have an account or not. And the room went nuts. It was great. And, and I think they got the point. But finally, and there's been other solutions introduced, and eBay's gotten friendlier since then. Amazon's always been friendly. There's a reinstatement process there for those of us who temporarily lose our accounts. But there's finally a solution where, as responsible business owners, we can have insurance. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've come up with? And then I'm going to ask you some of the questions I've been hearing, and we'll just go through this. And I think, the bottom line is a lot of sellers are going to be able to sleep easier at night, rest well, knowing that if the worst case happens and they're suspended, hey, their income can be replaced. That's so cool. So take it away. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So this is 100% your guys' response to what your pain points are. I've been working with online sellers a little over a year now, and I've really just been working on the general liability and products liability for those of you who are selling online. And over and over and over again, I kept hearing that you guys are so worried about suspension and what happens if my account is suspended, I've quit my job, this is my only income, can you help me with that? And my answer for the last year has been, no, I'm sorry. There's not income replacement for people who are 100% online. If you had a storefront, sure, I can help you. But there hasn't been anything out there.
There is another insurance that you provide. You've been providing great for a few years to this community, and that is the basic insurance that Amazon requires for you to cover your products.
Correct.
So you've had that for a long time. There's several places to go, but I highly recommend you go to my friend Ashlyn if that's what you need. And by the way, listener, in the show notes, links to everything we talk about today, silentjim.com. So don't furiously write down notes if you're jogging or driving. That's okay. Got you covered. Just go to the show notes. But so yeah, if you need insurance, you don't have that yet. That's a separate policy. That's been available for a long time. But we're talking about income replacement. Now, this is cool.
Yep. So you guys said, I need some help. And so we started looking around to see who could help. And we have a new, never been out there before. We are creating this policy just for you guys. And it is going to be an income replacement policy. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It's going to be a 90-day max policy or a max of $1 million payout. And what that means is if you're suspended, we're going to pay income up to 90 days or $1 million. So that also means that you can be suspended a couple of times. Hopefully not. Hopefully you've learned your lesson the first time and we figure it out. But you can be suspended a couple of times for the year up to that 90-day max or $1 million. Not only are we going to help supplement your income, but we're going to try to help you get unsuspended as quick as possible. The quicker we get you unsuspended, of course, the less money the insurance company is going to have to pay. So we're going to try to help you get unsuspended. We do have on staff a couple ex-Amazon staff members and executive members who have done this. This is their specialty. And then we're working with other vendors outside of the Amazon world, like the Cynthia Steins of the world, to help get you guys back reinstated as quickly as possible so you can start making money again.
Let me backfill in a couple details here for the listener. I'm sorry, I'm like bouncing out of my seat here. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so 2 things. Former Amazon employees that used to work in the department that suspended people have been brought on board to help manage the reinstatement process, which is what they used to do when they worked at Amazon. And these people are like, they're like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, like you haven't even told me who they are yet. I'm hoping that maybe I can learn their identity someday. But we know for a fact they worked for Amazon, and now they used to work in the suspension and reinstatement department, and now they're helping restore accounts that you've secured. The other thing you just mentioned is, I don't know if you realize this or not, Cynthia Stein has a fantastic book, listener, and for your sake too, Ashlyn, you can recommend this to anybody. Her book, Suspension Prevention, right? It sells on Amazon. It's great. But if you're a member of our community and you happen to have the Proven Amazon course, which just happens to be the best-selling course on how to succeed on Amazon. Just throwing that in there. Today's show is sponsored by that, okay? But hey, you get her book free now. It's the full version of her book that tells you how to avoid being suspended, how to get reinstated if you are suspended, and she offers professional services for reinstatement. And I love that you're going to be using these very experienced professionals, such as Cynthia, who we rely on greatly in our community, to help people get back as quickly as possible. And one last thing before I turn you loose again, the industry average, if you talk to people who have dealt with a lot of suspensions, and even the Amazon workers, the former Amazon employees that are now helping us with reinstatements, they echoed this same number that about 90 to 95% of the time, if you're suspended on Amazon, you do eventually get reinstated. It's the sting of that lost income, though, that really stinks. We see businesses go under. The cash flow is everything, right? So that's why I love this. Okay, I'm going to turn you loose again. I just filling in some gaps as we go.
Sure. So right now it's going to be U.S.-based businesses only. So as long as your business is based in the U.S. or you have a U.S. presence, we'll be able to offer this policy. Now, we did just get our license for UK, Australia, and Canada. So those are coming, I would say Q2 for sure. And then we're going to take this global. So if you're listening over in China and you want this policy, it will be available. This will go global. This will go across country lines, and everyone will be able to have this policy by the end of the year. So it's really exciting that it's not just for U.S. This is for everyone. Everyone who sells on Amazon has this problem. It's not just a U.S.-based problem. It's a global problem. And we're going to nip it in the bud. We're going to get every person the option to be able to have this policy.
Well, Amazon, of its own self-preservation, does have algorithms in place that sometimes catch the really good people. And I just recorded a podcast episode a few before this one where I talked with Cynthia. Amazon's going after the bad actors. There's people out there that are setting up hundreds of illegitimate accounts and they're just burning through them. You guys aren't going to insure those clowns, but sometimes when Amazon casts its net out there trying to get these bad guys off their platform, good guys get caught in the net and they get suspended for a week or 2 weeks,
right,
or 6 weeks or 3 months until things are sorted out. That's what this insurance covers. But I love, this isn't doing anything that Amazon's going to frown on. Amazon's going to love this. They're not trying to destroy our business when they suspend us. It just takes them a while to sort through that net sometimes and figure out, oh, well, you were a good guy. You only have one account. you accidentally, made one little mistake. No big deal. Welcome back. Well, the thing is, it took 8 weeks and that cost me $50,000 or even just a couple $1,000s. So this policy isn't only for the big boys. I love that it's even for the little newbies too. Should be definitely looking at this because the price is so reasonable. And as your business grows, it covers that too. So there's all kinds of directions we can go here. I'm so excited. Let me do this, Ashlyn, before I turn you loose again. I know there's people saying, I just want to go sign up for this. I want to go somewhere and read the details and fill out an application right now. I know there's people thinking that. So if you go to provenamazoncourse.com/insure-me, one word, insure me, all lowercase, have all the frequently asked questions there, an actual application. You can send it right off 10 minutes from now over to Ashlyn and be rolling. So, all right, let's keep it going. What else you got?
Perfect. So you brought up a good point about the people that are doing stuff that is negative and that it's kind of your violators. This policy is not for them. Let me just stress, this is for legitimate people who are really looking to replace your income. This is not a cash cow. This is not an invitation for you to go make bad choices and buy bad products because you think we're going to cover your income if you're caught. Okay, this is not for you guys. I hate to be the downer, but if you intentionally infringe or evade or violate your participation agreement with with Amazon or your seller's agreement, or you put a prohibited product on there, this is not going to cover it. This is for legitimate reasons that Amazon is suspending your policy. So just keep that in mind. Be the good person, do the right thing, and the policy will pay out. If you're doing shady stuff, we're going to catch you. This isn't a little tiny insurance company. This is a really big, top-notch insurance carrier that does their due diligence, and they're not going to pay out on claims if they're false claims or fabricated claims even.
So I can't start selling firearms on Amazon and expect to be covered. Is that what you're telling me?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Great. Well, are you allowed to reveal the company that's backing this?
I am. So
awesome.
This is a Lloyd's of London policy. So this is backed. It's on Lloyd's paper. They are one of the most respected insurance companies in the industry, one of the most long-standing insurance companies in the industry, and they are A+ rated. They are an amazing insurance company, and they're the ones backing this product. It's not Ashlyn Haddon Insurance Agency. This is backed by Lloyd's of London.
Oh, so, I love it. Yeah, it's not you with a little bit of side money going, I think I could deserve this. No, I love, this just validates the entire industry. I know when you called me and you were telling me about this, I know exactly where I was. I was actually out hitting the grocery store, grabbing a few things for dinner, and you pinged me. And I stood there in the middle of the grocery store for like 45 minutes, just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I was asking you a million questions, right? Because just the fact that this exists validates this entire industry to a new level. I used to have to explain when I was saying, yeah, there's great opportunity here. People would say, well, it doesn't sound quite as secure as the paycheck though. I'm saying,
right.
This just puts it over the top. We can insure your business just like every other business out there insures itself for the worst case scenarios that could happen. And it just validates, yes, now is the right time to be an online seller, to get into selling physical products online, which is a big part of what we teach. So I love how this will just allow all of those in our community who really understand how the world works to just breathe easier and sleep well at night, knowing worst case scenario, I'm covered. And we will help you pivot. 3 months is a long time. You can pivot in all kinds of different areas with 3 months of income and do all kinds of creative partnerships and new ideas. Worst case scenario, if you're one of those 5% that can't get reinstated, we'll help you. There's all kinds of solutions in our community, but this is going to take care of 95% of those who get suspended. And I don't know what the statistics are on the likelihood of being suspended, but it pops up often enough that it kind of has that chilling effect sometimes. We can just totally get rid of that now. I love that about this policy.
I do too.
So what else can you tell us about it? I've got a few questions here to ask you that I'm excited about, but what are some of the other common issues, maybe some objections? You've seen a few people coming through now with applications. What are they asking you? Let's dig into it a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of the questions are coming along with past suspensions. So I'm getting a lot of, I've been suspended before. Can I still get the policy? Or I'm suspended now. Can I still get the policy? Or I'm new to Amazon. Can I still get this policy? So the answer to all of those are yes. If you've had a suspension in the past, you still can apply for the policy. Now, each individual application is underwritten, which just means it's looked at individually. And we're going to look at your past suspension. What did you get suspended for? Did you get suspended for putting an item as new when it really was used? Did you learn your lesson? Have you done it multiple times? What was the reason you were suspended? If it was a legitimate reason, you didn't know, you learned from your mistake, that kind of stuff, then of course we're going to allow you to apply for the policy. Now there's going to be a little bit of a surcharge for those who's had past suspensions, but that doesn't kick you out that you can't have this policy. So yes, absolutely, those who have been suspended in the past, we are going to look at those too. New people, I get a lot of people saying, hey, I'm brand new. I'm just starting Jim's courses. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Can I still get this policy? Absolutely. It's amazing policy for someone who is just starting out because we're basing the price on your sales. And guess what? You don't have any sales yet. So your price is going to be really, really cheap. But we know you're going to grow. I mean, if you're part of Jim's team, we know you're going to grow. So in the next 12 months, you start earning $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month. That's fine. And we're going to pay you that income that you're earning, but we're still only going to base your policy on that first year of really no sales. So you kind of get a freebie the first year. At the end of the first year, we're going to send you an audit sheet that says, hey, what were your sales? And then that's what we're going to use to move forward for your next year's premium. But you kind of get a free pass the first year.
It really is. It's a steal. If someone's new to this, they're fairly new, their numbers are still fairly low, it's just a steal. I'm almost saying you've got to do it. We're even looking into, like for people who sign up for a coaching program, I'm not saying this has happened already, but we're looking into it. We'll just pick up the premium. I mean, we'll just pay it because you'll sleep better at night. No matter how big you grow, your income is now covered. It's like, sky's the limit. Go to town that first year. And we have seen people grow from zero to tens of thousands of dollars a month in sales very quickly in our community. Those are the ideal clients for this because, like you just said, that first year, it's based on zero sales history. So the numbers are really, really low as far as the premium goes. So I'm very excited about that aspect of it for the newbies. And then we've got people doing a few $1 million a month that are looking at this. So it's going to be good for them too. Now, you can't replace an $8 million a month business. Obviously, there's very few people. I mean, we're talking about the far right-hand side of our bell curve on that one. But up to $1 million total is the cap right now, right?
Right, correct. Now, down the line, we do have phase 2 and phase 3 coming that will be the cap is going to be closer to the 5 million mark. Of course, that'll be more expensive, but for those people who are doing huge amounts of sales per day, we will have another phase coming out for those people.
I love it. And the way I've kind of thought through and approached this, and I know you and I have talked a little bit as we're thinking through this whole thing and how people are going to perceive it, it kind of feels a little bit to me like a disability policy, a temporary disability policy.
Yeah.
Only in this case, it doesn't just cover your lost income, but it also covers your reinstatement fees, meaning it's kind of like a short-term disability policy that also covers all your rehab and your doctor visits and your, all that stuff that goes into getting you healthy again while your income your job, you can't work. So you're getting paid anyway, and you're getting paid for all your doctor visits. It's kind of the equivalent of that. That's a way to think about this. It's like, all these, because suspensions aren't cheap. I mean, Cynthia's services are worth every penny. She has to charge some money because there's a lot of back and forth that goes on between Amazon and doing things in the right order, making sure that, you're one of those fish that gets picked out of the net. You don't get left in there with the bad guys. It's not necessarily a simple, straightforward process. So I say they're earning every penny of what they're charging. But the nice thing is you don't have to worry about what they're charging anymore if you have this policy. The policy covers those fees. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes. The policy will cover a portion of the fees. That dollar amount has not been determined yet, but it will cover a portion of those fees. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay, that's all we can say for now. Well, it's going to cover a big chunk of it. And I would encourage the listener, hey, check that part out as you go through the policy and make sure. But the nice thing is it reduces the panic over this whole situation and makes it very manageable. So that this is no longer an excuse. I love that we've eliminated this excuse. Okay. So one thing I want to emphasize, this isn't just for the Amazon platform, right? Let's say people
Absolutely.
sell on Jet or eBay or even Walmart.com, right? I mean, wherever you sell, if you get suspended and you lose income as a result, this policy kicks in, right?
It is a true e-commerce policy. So no matter where you're selling, if you are online and you have your own website and you're selling on eBay and Amazon and your own website, it's going to cover that too. So it is a true e-commerce policy across all platforms.
That's fantastic. And one of the other things you were telling me too was when people fill out an application, which I think many people are going to rush and do, there's no obligation in filling out the application. Just go fill it out, send it in. But don't fly through that step and fudge on your numbers. It's actually very important to be as accurate as you possibly can on that. And tell us about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this policy, your application is your guaranteed insurability. So what we're saying with that is we are basing this policy on the application that you have given us and the price that we give you. So if you fudge anything, if you misrepresent anything, if you distort the facts and you end up having a claim, we go back to the application to look at what you said. And if you did any of those prior things, that is reason for us to decline your claim. So if you say, I've never had a suspension before, we issue the policy at X price, and then 6 months down the road, you said, okay, Ashlyn, I've got my first claim. I need to make a claim. We're going back to check those things. We have to have access to your seller account. We have to look at your past history. And if we see that suspension on there and you didn't disclose it, that is reason right there for us to deny your claim. You have got to be 100% honest with us. You can't misrepresent the facts or your claim will be denied. So you've just got to be 100% open and honest and upfront with us, because anything that you do is a reason for us to deny the claim.
And you're there to help people make sure that they're filling out the application process correctly. Absolutely. And if they have questions. So all that is at the link, provenamazoncourse.com/insure-me. One word, insure me. Go there.
And then Jim, you've done the application. You've seen it. It's really easy. It's very self-explanatory, but it's very plug and play. What's your name? What's your address? Have you been suspended before? Yes or no? I mean, it's not a maybe. Either you have or you haven't. So, I mean, just be open and honest with us and fill it out to the best of your knowledge. And, of course, I'm here with questions. Jim is there with questions, too. So please feel free to utilize either one of us. But
yeah,
any questions?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. There is a huge, exciting discussion going on Facebook in our community about this policy. When we first said, hey, it's coming, and people were freaking out, hundreds of people clicking like and love and comments. And, if you have a question, that's a great place to go too. You can jump in there and ask our community, which is really smart. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes. And, we were talking about the application. One of my favorite fields on the application is, how did you hear about this policy? And that's where you put in my name, guys. I'd love for you to do that. Appreciate that, because Ashlyn actually has some room to give a little override for the referral. So I would certainly appreciate that. Consider that your fee for listening to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Put my name in that little blank. Okay. So we'll keep this show free. So what else? Are we missing anything, Ashlyn? I think we've really covered a lot of really good ground here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else as far as, I'm sure everyone's thinking, what's the price, right? You ready to talk about price?
Yeah. Well, let's do it. I didn't know how much you wanted to talk about that, but let's do it.
Obviously, everything is underwritten. Every individual is done separately. But just to kind of give an estimate, just so you're saying, okay, well, I can't afford that. There's no way I can afford to have a policy like that. I'm just going to give you an example. So someone who is doing about $500,000 a year in sales with no past suspensions, no past inquiries, was a good straight-laced seller on Amazon, the policy is going to be around $1,300 a year, not a month, a year. $1,300 a year for a $500,000 seller is pretty cheap.
Oh, it is. I mean, try finding, I'll give the listener a little challenge. Try finding a policy that would cover a temporary disability for that amount. You won't be able to find it. It's not out there. I mean, that is ridiculously inexpensive for the income coverage that you're going to get. So I love the pricing model that you guys ended up using for this. And, those prices may change over time, but right now, right now, it's a steal. It's just flat out a steal. I'm so excited for this.
In your terms, Jim, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, my mom runs my Amazon business. And as soon as that application went live, I'm like, Mom, go fill it out right now. We want to be one of the first people to lock this in before they wise up, because this is a steal. This is awesome. For no other reason, not that I plan on cashing it in at some point, but just not having to worry. And Ashlyn, so many people listening to this, I guarantee you they can relate to waking up in the morning. And, we've all heard about how to have a great start to your day. You wake up and, for me, I say my thank you, God, I'm so blessed, a little prayer. And then I have my water, then I have my healthy food or whatever, whatever your routine is. For so many of us, it's wake up, panic a little, check to see if you still have an Amazon account or an eBay account, and then go on with your day and do all those things. It's like, it's just not right. It's not healthy. And this eliminates that. I just know that there's thousands of people who are going to hear this and go, wow, it's possible to eliminate that fear from my morning routine. Yes, it is. It totally is. And many people are going to take advantage of this if they're smart. Well, hey, depending on how this launch goes, I mean, we're just now launching this thing. So we may have you back. There may be some new questions or new little twists to the story here, but I think we've hit the ball out of the park on this. And if people want more information, they know how to go get it. So this is a great episode, Ashlyn. Thanks for making some time in your day today. I really appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you. You're a great sponsor of our events. So if the listener is interested in meeting you in person, I know you're going to be at our CES event, which is in September 2017. And we've got a sold out event. I'm going to see you here in a couple of weeks in LA at our sold out event, but that one's sold out. So we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, come see Ashlyn. She's a great sponsor of ours for our events. September 2017 in Orlando, CES. Go to Jim Cockrum Events for that. It's in the show notes. And get to meet Ashlyn and tell her thank you for, and you said earlier, let me just correct you on something. You said we came up with this idea. I think this was 95% you. Now, you were listening. You were listening to what we were saying, but it never even occurred to me personally to go out and try to make this happen, to find an insurance agent. But you did it. You approached Lloyd's of London. It's not like you just go up and knock on their front door and say, hey,
right?
Would you guys insure this? And they say, sure, sounds good. I mean, this was a long, arduous process for you. So thank you from the community.
Thank you.
And me to you. Thank you so much for the long, hard. And it was a risk for you. I mean, you've gone out on a bit of a limb here. It takes some investment and time and effort. And they could have easily said no, but you pushed it forward and made it happen. So thank you from the community.
Thank you.
And me to you. All right. Good way to end, huh? Well, listener, thank you so much for your time today. I promise this was a fantastic half-hour investment for you. If you sell online or plan to or know someone who does, send them this episode. I'll tell you this. If you know someone who sells online, sells physical product, a company, an individual, you send them this podcast episode, it will be the best gift you ever give them. They will be so excited to hear this information. They need to hear this. So spread the word. Tell them to go to silentjim.com. Check out the show notes for this episode, everything you need right there. It's my pleasure to serve you. Thank you so much to our guest today, Ashlyn Haddon. She'll be around if you need her. Check our Facebook group. A link's in the show notes. Can't wait to do this again, listener. Thanks for listening to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Talk to you real soon.